Captain Jake Morrison walked into the huge meeting room on Nexus Prime Station. The room was bigger than a football field. Hundreds of alien beings sat in circles around a central platform. Some looked like giant lizards, others glowed with soft light. A few had too many arms or eyes. Jake had seen them all before, but they still made him feel small. Dr. Lisa Martinez walked beside him. She carried a datapad with humanity's latest proposal. They had worked on it for months. Lisa believed this time would be different. Jake was not so sure. The station orbited a planet called Kepler 442b. No one lived there, which made it perfect for meetings between different species. The Galactic Council had met here for over 200 years. They made decisions about trade, war, and which species could join their group. Humans had been trying to join for 30 years. Every time the answer was the same. Gnome Ambassador Zethkar stood on the central platform. He was tall and green with yellow eyes that never blinked. His species, the Vorthon, had been council members for 1,000 years. He looked down at Jake and Lisa as they took their seats. "The council will now hear from the human delegation," Zethkar said. His voice was cold and formal. Jake stood up. Around him, hundreds of alien eyes turned to watch. Some looked curious, most looked bored, a few looked angry. "Honored council members," Jake began. "Humanity comes before you once again with respect and hope. We have spent 30 years proving ourselves worthy of membership in this great alliance." He pressed a button. On his datapad, a hologram appeared above the platform. It showed images of human achievements over the past 5 years. "We have developed new medicines that can heal diseases in 12 different species," Jake said. The hologram showed human doctors working in alien hospitals. "Our engineers have built space stations that can survive in the most dangerous parts of the galaxy." The images changed to show massive construction projects. Human workers in spacesuits built giant metal structures among the stars. "We have cleaned up polluted worlds and brought dead planets back to life," Jake continued. The hologram now showed green forests growing on worlds that had been barren rock just years before. Dr. Martinez stood up beside him. "Humans have also made great discoveries in science," she said. "We have learned how to travel between stars faster than ever before. Our studies of black holes have helped all species understand the universe better." High Counselor Thys floated near the ceiling. Her species, the Luminar, were made of pure energy and looked like glowing clouds. When she spoke, her voice sounded like music. "These achievements are noted," Thys said. "But the Council has concerns about human nature. Your species has a history of violence and war." War Chief Grund slammed his massive fist on his chair. He was from the Kagan species and looked like a cross between a bear and a rhinoceros. "Humans fight too much," he growled. "They cannot be trusted." Jake felt his anger rising, but kept his voice calm. "Every species has had wars in their past. Humans have not fought a major war in over 50 years. We have shown that we can change and grow." Ambassador Zethkar raised his hand for silence. "The Council acknowledges human efforts," he said. "But membership requires more than technological skill. It requires wisdom and patience that your species has not yet developed." Lisa stepped forward. "What more can we do?" she asked. "We have followed every rule. We have helped other species without asking for payment. We have shared our knowledge freely. What does the Council want from us?" Several alien delegates began talking at once. Some languages sounded like singing. Others were just clicks and growls. Jake could not understand most of it, but he could guess what they were saying. The debate went on for 2 hours. Species after species stood up to explain why humans should not be allowed to join. They said humans were too aggressive, too unpredictable, too different from civilized races. Finally, Zethkar called for quiet. "The Council will now vote on the human proposal for membership," he announced. Jake and Lisa watched as the voting began. Each species had 1 vote. There were 850 council members present. Jake needed at least 426 votes to win. The first votes were not surprising. The Vorthon voted no. The Kagan voted no. Species after species rejected humanity's proposal. But some voted yes. The Centauri merchants liked trading with humans. The equerry remembered how humans had helped save their homeworld from a plague. A few smaller species supported humanity too. Jake counted the votes as they came in. After an hour, the final tally appeared on screens around the room. Yes, 3 votes. No, 847 votes. The room fell silent. Jake stared at the numbers. 3 votes. Out of 850, only 3 species thought humans deserved to join the council. Zethkar's voice cut through the silence. The proposal is rejected, he announced. Furthermore, the council has decided to place new restrictions on human expansion. Humans will be limited to their current 47 star systems. No new colonies will be permitted without council approval. Lisa gasped. You cannot be serious, she said. Other species have hundreds of worlds. Why are you limiting us? Because humans expand too quickly, Theus replied. Your growth threatens the balance of power in the galaxy. Jake felt something cold settle in his stomach. This was not just rejection. This was punishment for being successful. War Chief Grun laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. Maybe now humans will learn their place, he said. Jake looked around the room. He saw smugness in many faces. Some aliens were actually smiling. They enjoyed watching humanity fail. For 30 years, humans had tried to play by the rules. They had been polite and patient. They had proven themselves over and over again, and this was their reward. Jake stood up slowly. The room grew quiet as everyone watched him. Thank you for your decision, he said in a calm voice. It has been very educational. He turned to Lisa. Pack your things. We are leaving. Lisa looked, confused. But Jake, we can appeal the decision. We can try again next year. Jake shook his head. No, Lisa. We are done here. Humanity officially withdraws from all diplomatic negotiations with the Galactic Council. The room erupted in surprised voices. Some aliens seemed shocked. Others looked pleased. Zethkar stood up. You cannot simply leave, he said. All civilized species must work within the council system. Jake smiled for the first time in hours. Then I guess we are not civilized, he said. Good day, Ambassador. He walked toward the exit. Lisa followed him, still looking stunned. Behind them, the council chamber filled with angry voices and confused shouting. As they reached the door, Jake turned back one last time. You have made your choice, he called out. Now humanity will make ours. The door closed behind them with a soft hiss. In the hallway, Lisa grabbed Jake's arm. What have we done? She asked. Jake looked at her with steady eyes. We have stopped begging for scraps, he said. It is time for humanity to find its own way. They walked to their ship in silence. Neither of them knew that this moment would change the galaxy forever. The aliens in the council chamber were already forgetting about the humans, believing they would come crawling back within months. They were very wrong. President Helen Carter stood in front of the massive window in her office on Earth. She could see the blue oceans and white clouds of her home planet below. In the distance, space elevators reached up to the orbital stations like silver threads, connecting Earth to the stars. 3 days had passed since Captain Morrison walked out of the Galactic Council meeting. News of humanity's withdrawal had spread to every human colony in the galaxy. Now Helen had to decide what came next. General Ryan Scott entered her office. He was a tall man with gray hair and serious eyes. Behind him came Dr. Alex Chen, the head of humanity's most secret research project. Madam President, General Scott said, all fleet commanders are waiting for your orders. What do we do now? Helen turned away from the window. We do what humans have always done when others tried to control us, she said. We make our own path. Dr. Chen stepped forward. He looked excited and nervous at the same time. Madam President, if we are truly cutting ties with the Council, then Project Prometheus can finally move forward without restrictions. Helen nodded. She had approved the secret project 5 years ago. Human scientists had been studying alien technology found on old battlefields and abandoned worlds. The Galactic Council had strict laws about such research. Now those laws no longer mattered. Tell me about our progress, Doctor, Helen said. Dr. Chen activated a holographic display. It showed star maps and technical diagrams that looked far more advanced than anything humans had built before. We have made incredible breakthroughs, he said. By combining human engineering with alien technology, we have developed faster engines, stronger materials, and completely new types of weapons. The Council's laws forced us to work slowly and carefully. Without those restrictions, we can advance much faster. General Scott studied the displays. How much faster are we talking about? Our new ships can travel 3 times faster than anything in the Galactic Fleet, Dr. Chen replied. We have also developed stealth technology that makes our vessels invisible to alien sensors. Helen felt a smile cross her face. Excellent. How long until we can begin production? The first prototypes are already being built in the asteroid mining facilities near Jupiter, Dr. Chen said. We can have a full fleet ready within 2 years. Captain Maria Santos walked into the office. She commanded humanity's deep space exploration fleets. Her ships had been mapping unknown regions of the galaxy for years. Madam President, she said, I have a report from the outer colonies. Something interesting is happening. Helen gestured for her to continue. 3 alien trade ships arrived at New Geneva Colony this morning, Captain Santos said. They wanted to buy our medical supplies and computer components like always, but the colonists turned them away. On whose orders? General Scott asked. No one's, Captain Santos replied. The colonists decided on their own. Word is spreading through all the colonies. Humans are refusing to trade with Council species. Helen was surprised. She had not given any orders about trade. The colonies were making this choice themselves. Dr. Chen looked at his datapad. I am getting similar reports from 12 other worlds. Human colonies are cutting all economic ties with the Galactic Council. This is bigger than we thought, General Scott said. The colonies are not just following orders, they are angry. Captain Santos nodded. 30 years of being treated like children has made people furious. They are ready for something new. Helen walked back to the window. Below her, she could see the lights of cities where 5 billion humans lived their lives. Beyond Earth, 46 other worlds held human colonies. Each one was now making the same choice. General Scott, she said, I want you to send a message to all fleet commanders. From now on, we follow the Terran Doctrine. What is the Terran Doctrine? He asked. Helen turned to face her advisors. Humanity will pursue its own destiny without alien approval or interference. We will be polite but firm. We will not trade with Council species. We will not participate in their political games. We will build our own civilization among the stars. Dr. Chen looked worried. Madam President, the Council will not like this. They might try to force us back into negotiations. Let them try, Helen said. General, I also want you to begin Operation Silent Running. General Scott straightened. Operation Silent Running was another secret program. Human colonies would gradually disappear from alien sensors and communication networks. Ships would be upgraded with stealth technology. Within months, the Council would lose track of most human activities. Yes, Madam President, General Scott said. How long do we maintain radio silence? Until we are strong enough that it no longer matters what the Council thinks, Helen replied. Over the following weeks, the changes began. Human ships stopped using the Galactic Communication Network. Trade routes that had operated for decades went silent. Alien merchants arrived at human colonies to find empty space where cities used to be. The humans had not fled. They had simply become invisible. Engineer Maya Patel worked in a secret facility inside an asteroid near the edge of human space. Her team was installing the new stealth systems on entire space stations. The technology was based on alien designs, but improved by human engineering. Testing stealth field activation, Maya said into her headset. She pressed a button. Outside the asteroid, sensors showed empty space where a massive research station had been just seconds before. Perfect, she said. The aliens will not be able to find us even if they are looking right at us. Meanwhile, Commander Ben Parker led the first ships equipped with the new technology. His small fleet was scouting alien territory, gathering information, while remaining completely hidden. "This is amazing," his navigator said. "We just flew past a Vorthan patrol ship. They had no idea we were here." Commander Parker smiled. For 30 years, aliens had spied on human activities. Now humans could return the favor. Dr. Rachel Kim made an even more important discovery. Her archaeological team found ancient ruins on a planet deep in unexplored space. The ruins were millions of years old and filled with advanced technology. "These are not from any species we know," she told her team. "Whoever built this was more advanced than the current council members." Ruins contained star maps and historical records. Dr. Kim realized that the galaxy had once been ruled by a different group of species. The current council had overthrown them in a massive war long ago. "This changes everything," she said. "The council is not the original galactic government. They are conquerors who destroyed their predecessors." Back on Earth, President Carter received reports from all across human space. The withdrawal was working better than anyone had expected. Human colonies were thriving without alien trade. The secret research projects were making rapid progress. But the most important change was in the human spirit. For the first time in 30 years, humans felt free to be themselves. They did not have to ask permission or follow alien rules. They could build whatever they wanted and explore wherever they chose. General Scott brought her the latest intelligence reports. "The council is starting to notice," he said. "Their trade networks are experiencing disruptions. Several smaller species that traded with us are also withdrawing from council activities." "Are they concerned?" President Carter asked. "Not yet," General Scott replied. "Most council members think this is a temporary tantrum. They expect us to come back begging for readmission within a few months." President Carter laughed. "They do not understand humans very well." "No, they do not," General Scott agreed. "But they will learn." 3 months after the withdrawal, Ambassador Zethkar stood before the Galactic Council with a troubled expression. Reports were coming in from across the galaxy. Human colonies had vanished from sensor networks. Trade routes were disrupting alien economies. Even worse, some non-council species were following humanity's example and withdrawing from galactic affairs. "Perhaps we should reconsider the human situation," suggested a delegate from the Centauri Merchants Guild. "Their absence is causing significant economic problems." War Chief Grun slammed his fist on his chair. "Humans are trying to manipulate us," he growled. "We should send warships to bring them back." High Counselor Thys floated nervously near the ceiling. "I sense something troubling," she said. "The humans are not behaving as expected. They seem genuinely uninterested in returning to negotiations." Ambassador Zethkar dismissed their concerns. "Humans are emotional and impulsive," he said. "When their colonies begin struggling without council support, they will return. We simply need to be patient." But deep in his heart, Zethkar felt a growing worry. Humans had never acted like this before. Usually rejected species either gave up completely or tried harder to please the council. Humans were doing neither. They were doing something else entirely. Something that made the ancient ambassador feel afraid for the first time in centuries. On Earth, President Carter signed the final authorization for Phase 2 of humanity's new plan. Soon, the galaxy would discover what happened when humans stopped asking for permission and started taking action. The silent departure was ending. What came next would surprise everyone. Commander Ben Parker floated in the captain's chair of his ship, the Silent Hunter. Around him, his crew worked quietly at their stations. Outside the windows, empty space stretched in all directions. But Ben knew they were not alone. "Sensor, sweep complete, Commander," his navigation officer reported. 3 Vorthon patrol ships, 2 Kagan destroyers, and 1 Luminar scout vessel. None of them can detect us. Ben smiled. 6 months ago, his ship would have been spotted immediately by such a large alien fleet. Now, with the new stealth technology, they were completely invisible. "Take us closer to the Vorthon flagship," Ben ordered. "I want to hear what they are saying." The Silent Hunter drifted toward the largest alien ship. Ben's communication officer activated the passive listening systems. Soon, alien voices filled the bridge. "Search Grid 7 is complete. a Vorthan captain was saying. No sign of human activity. This is impossible, another voice replied. The humans had a mining colony here just 3 months ago. 50,000 people cannot simply disappear. Ben's crew exchanged satisfied looks. The aliens were searching for New Hope Colony, which had been relocated to a hidden system 2 weeks ago. The colonists were safe and continuing their work in complete secrecy. Commander, his science officer whispered, I am picking up something interesting from the Kagan ship. The alien conversation switched to the growling language of the Kagan species. Ben's computer translated it automatically. War Chief Grun grows impatient, a Kagan officer was saying. He wants to attack human space and force them to surrender. With what targets? Another replied. We cannot find their colonies or their ships. How do you attack an enemy that does not exist? Ben felt a chill of satisfaction. The human vanishing act was working perfectly. Over the past 6 months, 43 human colonies had disappeared from alien sensors. Not destroyed or abandoned, just invisible. Set course for the Vale Nebula, Ben ordered. Dr. Kim's team needs our latest intelligence reports. The silent hunter slipped away from the alien fleet like a ghost. None of the alien ships noticed anything unusual. 2 days later, Ben arrived at the ancient ruins that Dr. Rachel Kim had discovered. The planet looked dead from space, just rocks and dust. But hidden beneath the surface was the most important archaeological find in galactic history. Dr. Kim met Ben at the landing site. She looked excited and worried at the same time. Commander, you need to see what we found, she said. This changes everything we know about the galaxy. She led him down into vast underground chambers carved from solid rock. The walls were covered with strange writing and detailed star maps. Advanced machines sat silent in the darkness, waiting to be understood. This civilization was called the Architects, Dr. Kim explained. They ruled the galaxy 5 million years ago. They were peaceful builders who helped younger species develop and grow. Ben studied the alien writing on the walls. His translation computer could only understand small parts of it. What happened to them? He asked. Dr. Kim activated a holographic display. It showed a massive war that had raged across the galaxy. They were destroyed by an alliance of aggressive species, the same species that now control the Galactic Council, Ben felt his blood run cold. The Vorthan, the Kagan, and others, Dr. Kim confirmed. The Luminars, the Centauri, most of the current council members. They were younger species back then, but they were already violent and greedy. They united to destroy the Architects and steal their technology. The hologram showed fleets of ships attacking peaceful worlds. Entire civilizations were wiped out. The Architects fought back, but they were not prepared for such brutality. The Architects left these ruins as a warning, Dr. Kim continued. They recorded everything. The current council species have been pretending to be civilized for millions of years, but they are really conquerors and killers. Ben understood the implications immediately. That is why they never wanted humanity to join. We remind them too much of their own past. Exactly, Dr. Kim said. They are afraid that we might discover the truth about their history. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, Captain Steve Johnson was overseeing the construction of humanity's newest secret colony. The world was hidden deep in an unexplored star cluster where no alien ships had ever traveled. Terraforming is proceeding ahead of schedule, his chief engineer reported. The atmospheric processors will be finished next month. Steve watched as massive machines transformed the dead planet into a garden world. Humans had learned to work faster and more efficiently without alien restrictions and regulations. How many colonists can we support? Steve asked. Initial population of 100,000, the engineer replied. Full capacity of 5 million within 10 years. This was the 15th hidden colony that humans had established since withdrawing from the Council. Each one was completely self-sufficient and invisible to alien detection. If the Council ever decided to attack human space, they would find only empty worlds while the real human civilization grew in secret. Engineer Maya Patel was working on an even more ambitious project. Deep in an asteroid field, her team was building automated factories that could produce entire fleets of ships without human supervision. Production capacity is now at 5 ships per day, she reported to her supervisors on Earth. We can increase that to 20 ships per day if needed. The new ships were based on architect technology that Dr. Kim's team had recovered from the ruins. They were faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything the current galactic powers possessed. How long until we have a full battle fleet? Asked General Scott during their secure communication. 6 months for 100 ships, Maya replied. 2 years for 1,000 ships. Back on Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council was holding an emergency session. Ambassador Zethkar looked older and more worried than usual. Reports from across the galaxy painted a disturbing picture. Human colonies have vanished from 47 star systems, he announced to the assembled delegates. Our intelligence networks cannot locate their ships or track their movements. Economically, 12 member species are experiencing significant trade disruptions. High Counselor Theiss floated anxiously near the ceiling. I sense great change coming, she said. The humans are not simply hiding, they are building something. War Chief Grun stood up, his massive form towering over the other delegates. Enough talk, he roared. Send the fleet to human space. Destroy their remaining colonies. Force them to surrender. And attack what targets? Asked a Zentari merchant. Our best scouts cannot find human activity anywhere. It is like they have left the galaxy entirely. Ambassador Zethkar felt a deep unease growing in his stomach. In all his centuries of life, he had never encountered a species that could simply disappear so completely. Perhaps, suggested a nervous delegate from a minor species, we should reconsider our treatment of the humans. Maybe we could offer them a compromise. The suggestion was met with angry shouts from the major powers, but several smaller species nodded in agreement. They remembered how humans had helped them in the past and were beginning to question the Council's wisdom. Commander Parker's Ghost Fleet continued to gather intelligence from across alien space. What they discovered was both encouraging and troubling. The Council's unity is breaking down, Ben reported during his weekly briefing with Earth Command. Smaller species are starting to question the leadership. The Zentari are facing economic collapse without human trade. But the major powers are also getting more aggressive. Any sign they suspect the truth about our capabilities? Asked Admiral Connor Blake. No, sir, Ben replied. They still think we are hiding because we are weak. They have no idea how strong we have become. Dr. Kim's archaeological teams made another important discovery in the architect ruins. Hidden, deep beneath the main chambers, they found a vast library of scientific knowledge. This is incredible, she told her team. The architects recorded everything they knew about physics, biology, engineering, everything. With this knowledge, we can advance human technology by thousands of years. The most important discovery was information about quantum manipulation, the ability to change matter at the atomic level. Combined with human ingenuity, this technology could revolutionize everything from medicine to space travel. As the months passed, the galaxy slowly began to change. Human colonies continued to vanish from alien sensors while new hidden settlements appeared in unexplored regions. The Council's trade networks grew more unstable as species that had relied on human innovation found themselves falling behind. But the most significant change was psychological. For the first time in millions of years, the Galactic Council's authority was being completely ignored by an intelligent species. Other races began to wonder if the Council was really as powerful as it claimed. On Earth, President Carter received the latest reports with satisfaction. Humanity's gamble was paying off better than anyone had hoped. We are ready for the next phase, General Scott told her. Our hidden fleets are operational, our colonies are secure, our technology is advancing rapidly. What about our allies? Carter asked. 17 species have quietly withdrawn from Council activities, Scott replied. They are interested in joining our alternative alliance. Admiral Kate Thompson stood on the bridge of the Titan's Fury, watching her fleet conduct training exercises in a hidden nebula. 2 years had passed since humanity withdrew from galactic politics. The ships around her bore no resemblance to the vessels that aliens remembered. Admiral, her tactical officer reported, all 75 ships are ready for combat trials. Kate nodded. The new Terran Defense Fleet was humanity's answer to thousands of years of alien technological superiority. Each ship incorporated advanced architect technology with human engineering improvements. "Begin speed tests," Kate ordered. The massive warships accelerated faster than anything in the galactic fleet could match. Their hulls shimmered as stealth systems made them nearly invisible. Weapons that could tear through alien armor charged silently in the darkness. "Impressive," said Dr. Paul Garcia, who was observing from the bridge. His team had developed the quantum manipulation systems that made these ships possible. "These vessels can outrun, outfight, and outmaneuver anything the Council has." Kate felt a grim satisfaction. For 30 years, humans had been told they were too primitive for galactic civilization. Now they possessed the most advanced fleet in the galaxy. Meanwhile, on the other side of human space, Captain Lisa Brooks was conducting a very different kind of mission. Her ship, the Truth Seeker, was equipped with advanced scanning equipment and operated deep in alien territory. "Target acquired," her intelligence officer whispered. "Centauri merchant convoy, 12 ships." Lisa activated her ship's advanced sensors. The Centauri vessels never knew they were being watched as the human ship gathered detailed information about their cargo, destinations, and communications. "Interesting," Lisa said, reading the data. "They are carrying supplies to a secret Vorthan military base. According to galactic law, that base should not exist." Over the past year, Lisa's intelligence teams had discovered extensive corruption within the Galactic Council. Member species were breaking their own laws while enforcing strict rules on others. Secret military bases, illegal mining operations, and forbidden weapons research were common among Council members. "Upload this data to the secure network," Lisa ordered. "Command needs to see how hypocritical these aliens really are." The evidence was building into a comprehensive picture of Council corruption that would shock the galaxy when revealed. Engineer Tom Wilson was overseeing humanity's most ambitious industrial project. Hidden in asteroid fields throughout human space, automated factories were producing ships, weapons, and equipment at an incredible rate. "Daily production report," his assistant announced. 15 warships, 30 patrol vessels, and 50 cargo haulers completed today. Tom smiled as he watched robotic systems assembling massive spacecraft with perfect precision. Human automation. Technology had advanced far beyond anything aliens possessed. "How is the civilian fleet coming along?" Tom asked. 200 new colony ships will be ready next month," his assistant replied. "Each one can carry 50,000 settlers to new worlds." Humanity was not just building warships. They were preparing for massive expansion into unexplored regions of the galaxy. Soon, human colonies would spread across hundreds of new worlds. The Galactic Council was beginning to realize they faced a serious problem. Ambassador Zethkar stood before increasingly worried delegates as reports poured in from across their territory. "The economic situation continues to worsen," he announced grimly. 17 member species are experiencing significant financial difficulties due to the loss of human trade and innovation. The Centauri delegate looked particularly distressed. "My people face complete economic collapse," he said. "Human colonies were our largest customers for manufactured goods. Without that market, our entire industrial sector is failing." War Chief Grun slammed his fist angrily. "Then we force them back," he growled. "Deploy the fleet, attack their remaining colonies. Make them surrender." "What colonies?" asked a frustrated Kagan commander. "Our scouts have searched every system in human space. Most appear completely empty. We cannot attack targets we cannot find." High Counselor Thys drifted nervously through the chamber. "I sense something approaching," she said in her musical voice. "A great change comes to the galaxy. The humans are not hiding in fear. They are preparing for something." Several smaller species had begun withdrawing from Council activities. The Aquari, who remembered human help during their plague crisis, officially suspended their membership. 3 minor races followed their example within weeks. "This is intolerable," Ambassador Zethkar declared. "The human action is encouraging rebellion throughout the galaxy." But his words could not stop the growing crisis. For the first time in millennia, the Council's authority was being questioned by multiple species simultaneously. Dr. Garcia's research teams achieved another breakthrough that would reshape galactic technology. Deep in a hidden laboratory, they successfully demonstrated quantum matter manipulation on a massive scale. "Watch this," Dr. Garcia told his assembled team. He activated a device that looked like a simple metal box. The air in front of them shimmered. Suddenly, a perfect sphere of ultra-strong metal appeared floating in midair. The sphere had been created from nothing but raw atoms in the atmosphere. "We can now manufacture any material we need directly from basic elements," Dr. Garcia explained. "This eliminates our dependence on mining and traditional manufacturing." The implications were staggering. Humans could now build anything they needed anywhere in the galaxy. Raw materials would never be a limiting factor again. Captain Brooks made an even more shocking discovery during one of her intelligence missions. While investigating a Vorton research facility, her team uncovered evidence of a conspiracy that reached the highest levels of the Council. "Admiral Thompson needs to see this immediately," Lisa told her crew as they reviewed the intercepted data. The files revealed that several major Council species had been secretly eliminating promising younger races for thousands of years. Any species that showed potential to challenge Council dominance was quietly destroyed through manufactured conflicts, engineered plagues, or economic warfare. Humanity was never meant to be accepted, Lisa realized, with growing horror. We were being set up for elimination. The Council was just waiting for the right moment to destroy us. The evidence showed detailed plans for a future war against humanity. Council military leaders had been preparing for years to crush human civilization completely. Admiral Thompson received Lisa's intelligence report with cold fury. "How many species have they destroyed this way?" she asked. "At least 37. Over the past 5,000 years, Lisa replied. "Any race that developed advanced technology or showed independence was eliminated." Thompson made a decision that would change galactic history. "Prepare the evidence for wide distribution. Every species in the galaxy needs to know what the Council really is." Meanwhile, the hidden human colonies were thriving beyond all expectations. Captain Johnson reported from New Harmony, one of the largest secret settlements. "Population now exceeds 2 million, he announced during his monthly briefing with Earth Command. "Agricultural production is meeting all needs. Industrial capacity is growing rapidly." New Harmony was just one of 43 hidden worlds that humans now controlled. Each colony was completely self-sufficient and defended by advanced orbital platforms that aliens could not detect. "We are ready for the next phase of expansion," Johnson continued. "My teams have identified 50 additional worlds suitable for colonization." President Carter reviewed all the reports with growing confidence. Humanity's desperate gamble had succeeded beyond her wildest dreams. "General Scott," she said to her military advisor, "how do our capabilities compare to the Council now?" "In terms of technology, we have surpassed them," Scott replied. "Our ships are faster and stronger. Our weapons are more advanced. Our manufacturing capacity exceeds anything they possess." "What about numbers?" Carter asked. "They still have more ships and troops," Scott admitted. "But our technological advantage is so great that numbers may not matter." Carter nodded. Soon it would be time for humanity to reveal itself to the galaxy. But first they needed to gather allies for the confrontation that was coming. The power shift was already underway. The Galactic Council just did not know it yet. As Ambassador Zethkar struggled to maintain order in an increasingly chaotic council session, he could not shake the feeling that something fundamental had changed in the galaxy. The humans had been quiet for too long. In his experience, when an enemy went silent, it meant they were preparing for war. But Zethkar could not imagine just how thoroughly that war had already been won. Humanity had not just become stronger than the Council. They had become something entirely new. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when humans stopped asking for permission and started taking action. And that lesson would reshape civilization among the stars forever. Fleet Admiral John Davis stood on the bridge of the Earth's Pride as his massive fleet approached Nexus Prime Station. 3 years had passed since Captain Morrison walked out of the Galactic Council chamber. Now Davis was returning with 400 of humanity's most advanced warships. "Admiral," his communication officer reported, "Nexus Prime is demanding that we identify ourselves and state our business." Davis smiled grimly. Tell them that humanity has returned to address the Galactic Council, and this time we are not asking for permission. Around him, his crew worked with calm efficiency. These were not the desperate humans who had once begged for council membership. These were the representatives of a civilization that had transcended every limitation the aliens had tried to impose. On Nexus Prime, Ambassador Zethkar received the human message with growing alarm. Through the station's massive windows, he could see the approaching human fleet. The ships looked nothing like the vessels he remembered. They were larger, sleeker, and radiated an aura of deadly power. "How many ships?" he asked his military advisor. 400 confirmed contacts, the advisor replied nervously. "But Admiral, our sensors are having difficulty getting accurate readings. Their technology appears to be different." Zethkar felt a chill run down his spine. The humans had been gone for 3 years. What had they been doing during that time? "Activate all defensive systems," he ordered. "Alert the Council fleet." Dr. Susan Lee stood beside Admiral Davis as the human fleet took position around Nexus Prime. As humanity's new chief diplomat, she would deliver their message to the Council. But unlike previous human ambassadors, she would not be asking for anything. "Admiral," the tactical officer announced, 12 Council warships are approaching our position. Vorthan and Kagan vessels. Davis studied the alien ships with professional interest. Once those vessels had seemed impossibly powerful to human eyes. Now they looked primitive and clumsy. "Let them come," Davis said calmly. "But if they attempt any aggressive action, disable their weapons immediately." Captain Mark Rodriguez led a squadron of stealth ships that had already penetrated Nexus Prime's defenses. His vessels moved through the station's security grid like ghosts, completely invisible to alien sensors. "Position confirmed," Rodriguez reported through secure channels. "We are inside their defensive perimeter. All weapon systems and shield generators have been identified and targeted." The alien defenders had no idea that human ships were already among them, ready to strike if necessary. As the Council hastily assembled for an emergency session, representatives from dozens of species gathered in the Great Chamber. But this time, 12 additional species sat with the human delegation. These were the allies who had secretly joined humanity's new confederation during the years of isolation. Dr. Lee walked into the chamber with confident steps. Behind her came Admiral Davis and General Amy Foster, the head of humanity's planetary defense forces. The alien delegates stared in shock at the humans' changed appearance. Gone were the humble supplicants who had once begged for acceptance. These humans carried themselves like conquerors. "Honored delegates," Dr. Lee began, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. "Humanity returns to address this council one final time." Ambassador Zethkar struggled to maintain his composure. "The human delegation was not invited to this gathering," he said stiffly. "You have no right to be here." Dr. Lee smiled coldly. "We are not here as supplicants seeking your approval," she replied. "We are here as representatives of the Terran Alliance, a new confederation of free species." Shocked murmurs rippled through the chamber. Several alien delegates looked confused and worried. "The Terran Alliance hereby announces its existence to the galaxy," Dr. Lee continued. "We offer trade and peaceful relations to any species willing to treat us as equals, but we will no longer submit to the authority of this council." War Chief Grun rose from his seat with a roar of anger. "You dare threaten the rightful government of the galaxy?" he bellowed. "Guards, arrest these criminals." Security forces moved toward the human delegation. Dr. Lee did not even flinch. "I would not recommend that course of action," Admiral Davis said quietly. Suddenly, every defensive system on Nexus Prime went offline simultaneously. Emergency lights flickered as the station's massive shield generators shut down. Weapon turrets designed to protect the station turned to face inward, their targeting systems now under human control. "What is happening?" Zethkar demanded. "Captain," Rodriguez's voice came through the station's communication system. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the Terran Alliance. We have assumed control of your defensive systems. Any attempt to harm our diplomatic team will result in immediate retaliation." In space around the station, the approaching Council warships suddenly found themselves targeted by weapons they could not see. Human stealth ships had surrounded the alien fleet without being detected. War Chief Grun ordered his ships to attack, but nothing happened. The Kagan vessel's weapon systems had been disabled by human technology that could manipulate matter at the quantum level. "Your weapons are no longer functional," Admiral Davis informed the stunned aliens. "Nor are your shields or engines. Our ships could destroy your entire fleet in minutes, but we prefer peaceful solutions." High Counselor Thys floated near the ceiling, her energy form flickering with distress. "How is this possible?" she asked in her musical voice. 3 years ago, humans were technologically inferior to all Council species. Dr. Lee activated a holographic display that filled the center of the chamber. "Allow me to explain what humanity has accomplished during our period of independence." The hologram showed images of advanced human ships, massive space installations, and thriving colonies on dozens of worlds. But most shocking of all were the technological demonstrations. Ships that could travel faster than light itself. Weapons that could disintegrate matter at the atomic level. Manufacturing systems that could create anything from raw energy. "While you debated our worthiness," Dr. Lee said, "we surpassed you in every meaningful way." She changed the display to show detailed evidence of Council corruption. Secret military bases, illegal weapons research, the systematic elimination of promising younger species. The evidence that Captain Brooks had gathered over months of covert operations. "We also discovered the truth about this Council's history," Dr. Lee continued. "You are not the rightful rulers of the galaxy. You are conquerors who destroyed the peaceful architect civilization and stole their technology." Gasps of shock came from many delegates. Several smaller species looked at their council leaders with newfound suspicion and fear. Ambassador Zethkar tried to regain control of the situation. "These accusations are lies," he declared. "Humans cannot be trusted. They are violent and unpredictable." Dr. Lee's expression hardened. "We have 43 recordings of council meetings where you planned our eventual destruction," she said. "Your species has been preparing for war against humanity for decades." The hologram now showed secret Vorthan military plans, detailed strategies for attacking human colonies and eliminating human civilization completely. The evidence was undeniable. Several alien delegates stood up and walked out of the chamber. They had heard enough to know which side they wanted to support. General Foster stepped forward. "The Terran Alliance now controls 67 star systems," she announced. "Our population exceeds 8 billion across multiple worlds. Our industrial capacity surpasses the combined output of the 10 largest council members." The numbers were staggering. In just 3 years, humanity had built a civilization that rivaled the entire Galactic Council. "But we did not come here to conquer," Dr. Lee said, her voice softening slightly. "We came to offer a choice." She gestured to the assembled delegates. "Join the Terran Alliance as equal partners and share in the benefits of advanced technology and true cooperation, or remain with the Council and face isolation as more species choose freedom over oppression." Ambassador Zethkar felt his ancient world collapsing around him. For millennia, the Council had controlled galactic civilization through superior technology and ruthless elimination of threats. Now a species they had dismissed as primitive had surpassed them completely. "What guarantees do we have?" asked a nervous Centauri delegate. "How do we know humans will not become the new oppressors?" "Admiral," Davis answered. "Because we remember what it feels like to be powerless," he said. "We will never treat others the way you treated us." Over the following hours, the chamber erupted in heated debates. Some species immediately declared their intention to join the Terran Alliance. Others remained loyal to the traditional council. A few tried to remain neutral. War Chief Grun made one final attempt to salvage council authority. "This is intolerable," he roared. "We will not surrender galactic leadership to primitive humans." He activated a hidden weapon built into his chair, aiming it at Dr. Lee. The energy blast should have killed her instantly. Instead, the beam struck an invisible barrier and dissipated harmlessly. Human personal shields, another gift of architect technology. Captain Rodriguez's response was swift and precise. The Kagan war chief's chair was disintegrated by a beam that materialized from empty air, leaving Grun standing in shock, but unharmed. "The next demonstration will not be so gentle," Rodriguez warned.